That is my name, Henry Garrigo. I'm with Florida DEP, and as I usually like to say, I'm with the government, and I'm here to help. We are actually here to help. Karen is here, Jeff is here. We are working to try to improve the situation as best as we can. Our goals are to reduce waste and increase recycling, and a lot of that has to do with what you guys are going to do for us. I know through the morning presentations, I think we can all agree where the industry's at, where markets are at. My metaphor is kind of like as a runner. We were jogging along, we were picking up the pace, things were going great, then we got tripped up, fell flat on our face. Now we're kind of in the space where we're kind of crawling along, haven't really stood up yet, starting to dust off. What we hope to do at Florida DEP and through some of the stuff that we're doing is to get the industry, back on its feet, dust it off. Probably have to walk a little bit before we start running again, but hopefully we'll be able to get back on pace. And that'll help everybody, including yourselves. As was mentioned before, we do have a 75% recycling goal here in the state. It's for municipal recycling. It's a challenge. We have some interim goals. You see them up there at the top. We did meet the interim goal, it was 50%. We have a 60% goal coming up. That'll be a challenge considering the state of the markets. We're going to shoot for that 70% goal and hopefully hit the 75% goal in 2020, which is a stretch by I think everybody's estimations. The legislature has put this in place in their infinite wisdom, as they say. It's really focused on getting counties to participate, those counties over 100,000 population. And they direct us to do the research and reporting on that. We're going to be hopefully producing that shortly. So we'll see where we stand, and hopefully things will be improving. Our strategy at DEP is really kind of a push and pull strategy and try to make these things go. The push part is really looking at increasing collections and diverting more materials. I think you folks and us at DEP and the counties have done a good job of kind of collecting and driving towards getting more materials out of the waste stream and into recycling. We at DEP kind of go along the lines, we understand the global economies and global dynamics, but we are more of the kind of think globally, act locally thing. So we're looking at Florida, we're looking at helping the counties and helping industries in Florida try to do these things. So pulling more materials into the recycling, and then at the same time pull it out the other end, right? We can push stuff into the pipe as much as we can, but if it's clogged up, nothing else is going to fit in there, and it doesn't help the situation. So we really need to find ways to pull the materials out, and that's what our focus is, and my focus is particularly at DEP, which is increasing the demand for these materials as we collect them. And why do we want to do that? We're very business friendly. We want to help business. Recycling is good business for the state. There's a couple points here. I'm not going to dwell on it, but it does generate a lot of revenues. Across the country, it's over $11 billion in revenue. Lots of jobs, both statewide and nationally, on a per ton basis. We create more jobs than some of the landfill operations in recycling and remanufacturing. So we really want to encourage that and find ways to do it. We had limited resources. We're not getting a whole lot of additional resources to do it, so we're really trying to reach out to y'all to find out how we can work together to try to make some of these things happen. On the pull side, again, trying to pull things through, we do want to improve the waste diversion activities to get that stuff flowing to y'all. We do want to focus on some of the larger fractions. We talked about C&D. That's a big one. We're going to be talking about organics a little bit later in the day. Those are big things that we're trying to deal with and find ways to encourage that pull of that. We also want to find ways to create new businesses where we can. So if it's secondary MRFs, as Pat was talking about, or some of the other activities, and then collection, hauling, processing, reclamation, and remanufacturing, we're looking for ideas. We'll try to help encourage those kinds of businesses as well. That's going to always increase the other end of that, which is, again, it creates a more business-friendly environment. We can increase capital investments. We can add more jobs. Research has shown that some of the jobs in remanufacturing are higher wage jobs, higher paying jobs, and more skilled jobs, and we want to obviously increase that as well. And obviously more competition and more activity that there is on the market side, on the pull side, it will lower the burden on our citizens and our municipalities as far as the taxes go. So those are all reasons to do it. What are we doing specifically in the waste reduction and recycling section up in Tallahassee to help y'all? I'm going to touch on a couple of things here. The first is the Recycling Business Assistance Center. So this is the website for it. We encourage you to go there. It hasn't got a lot of refreshing and updating, quite honestly, for a while, and that's one of my priorities is try to deal with this. It was established in the legislature way back in 2010 and is been there but hasn't done a whole lot. So we were looking for additional input from you folks to see how we can build that up. There are a lot of good resources on the site. I would encourage you to do that, point people to it. But I think we can always do more. Our goals and in the statute is to improve guidance on recycling markets, as it says there. Try to work as the liaison between industry and government to find ways. People were talking about asphalt shingles, what we can do with that. Maybe we can partner with DOT, get them to look at it. Looking at other materials, glass, doing better uses of that. So we're trying to put ourselves in a position where we can help intermediate between government and industry as well. And then, of course, increase awareness for recycling in Florida in general. We have some financial assistance programs, and we have some recognition programs that we're going to talk about real quickly as well. I went through most of this. It's all our goals for the section, but it's basically working with industry to try to develop markets to, again, reduce waste, increase recycling, and improve the business environment at the same time. One of the things that we can do directly is the recycling loan program. So this is a program funded by the state. It's focused on small businesses. Since '95, we funded over $4 million in loans to small businesses. It's generally for equipment. So if you know or are a small business that would like to expand their capacity somehow or refresh some of their capacity, we do have this loan program available. It's administered through FFCFC up in Tallahassee. You can contact me or them directly, and we'll get you or whoever lined up with that program. They are fixed rate long-term loans. They are for small businesses. They define small businesses like the SBA does, essentially $6 million in net worth, less than 100 employees. The loans can go anywhere from $20,000 to $200,000. They can be participating with other loans as well, and they offer rates up to 2% below prime. So it's pretty competitive. I know money's cheap these days, but sometimes it's not easy to get to it. So you can find this information on our site, on the RBAC site, or again through FFCFC. It's a good program. It's a self-perpetuating fund, so we don't have any fear of the legislature taking away from us. There are funds available still. I don't think it's fully funded right now, so if you know anybody in that space, please ask them to follow up. Oops, I think I may have gone too far. No. Another thing that we're doing to try to raise awareness and create a little bit of social consciousness around recycling, waste reduction activities is the Recycling Recognition Program. We will and have for several years gone out to the industry, individuals, corporations, institutions, and recognize them for them participating in recycling and doing a good job. I see some faces in the room that have already participated and gotten the recognition. I know they appreciate it for their not only their PR but their social awareness campaigns. We have included everything from small nurseries, local nurseries, all the way up to the Florida Marlins and some larger retailers. It's a great program you can participate in if you are a business or an institution. We are ready to recognize a couple of educational institutions in the state, and I know I saw some of those faces as well. So we would encourage you. We'll come out, we'll give you the nice plaque. Jeff will come out or Karen will come out. Somebody will have a nice ceremony for you. We'll write up a nice PR press release for you. Or your whoever you're going to encourage to participate in that. We've done it over 30 times and we'll continue to do that. We're trying to get back on track. We kind of fell off a little bit on this. We'll take more candidates. It is very simple to participate. Again, in any public corporation or institution, private organizations, small businesses, even citizens can do this if they want to go through the effort. Manufacturers can participate, but not through their manufacturing processes. It has to be through their business operations. So we're not looking at industrial activities, more just commercial activities. The data is self-reporting. It's collected through this retrack site. It's also available on our site. So if you know anybody who wants to participate, they can go look at that or contact me. The threshold basically is that they're staying in step with us as we're trying to reach our goals. So, and if they are reporting over the 50% threshold, we'll consider them going forward, and it'll be the 60 to 70%. We recently recognized a construction company that was working on some projects here in the state, Skanska. They were in a 95+% range of some of their operations. They had 2 projects that were awarded. We had it up at the Capitol. We had a nice presentation for them. It was great for everybody all around. If there's some little blurb down here at the bottom, if some of these entities aren't sure exactly how to calculate it, the tool is very easy. It's self-reporting, as I said, and there's a little recycling calculator there as well. Another thing that we work with our partners here at SWIX, so we think they're a great operation. They really help us do a lot of the things that need to be done to develop the markets. Some of the things that they do is this matchmaking, the information resources they have available on the hotline and through their websites. Has everybody been to the SWIX website? I know one of our great sponsors, everybody's seen this site. I'm going to have a couple pictures of it. I've used it in some of my other presentations. For those who haven't seen it, the wastemap.org is a great thing too. They have a great bundle of resources available on their site. For those of you who don't know what it is, the exchange is wonderful. People exchange, kind of the Craigslist kind of thing, matchmaking. They have equipment or materials available. There's buyers on the other side that want materials. People find each other, go off and do business. It helps kind of pull the materials back through again. It's real important for making things happen. It also has information available on where people can take stuff to get it out of the waste stream and recycle. So all these little dots are different facilities. Make sure you're reporting back into them and letting them know where you are if you have facilities and you're not on this, so we can make sure that this is all up to date as well. And I'm trying to wrap it up as quickly as you can. I see they've already put out food. People keep turning around. You'll get there. We know there's a lot of challenges globally. Can't really do too much about that. We do try to focus on things that are happening here in the state. We don't have all the answers. We probably don't have many of the answers. We do encourage you guys to reach out to us and help us. There's a question from a gentleman back here before, asking what can be done. Well, we need to work together to see what can be done. The counties are doing their part. The markets are trying to do their part. We really do need to try to get together. This is a great venue. The matchmaking, the materials markets forums like this. We've gone out, we're doing more outreach. Please come to us and let us know what we can do for you. The things that we're going to continue to do, we want to try to build up the Recycling Business Assistance Center. We want to grow the network of people participating in the resources that are available. We want to continue to try to develop markets for new materials in the waste stream if we have to, thin plastics, those kinds of things. Improving the processing so that we can get those materials better, cleaner, higher value, and then hopefully try to grow the resale markets for you. We can't create markets ourselves, but we can work with you to try to find ways to do that. Another thing that you can do is through legislation, try to increase those activities if you think there's something that's going to help the industry. We encourage you to work through your legislatures, as they say, because that's where a lot of things happen. And that is about it. I try to run through as quickly as possible. I have a little time for questions. Ray gave me the green light to go a little bit past. If you guys don't just get up and walk out on me. That's the information that we have. And Ken had a question.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so the question is, what is the government itself doing, if I can paraphrase, on encouraging the purchase and use of recycled materials? Is that about right? So one of the things that we have in our guidelines is to work within the government, within the state itself, with the Department of Management Services, DMS, to work on strategies that will address that very thing. Admittedly, we haven't done much at all. We have a limited staff. Actually, 50% of our staff is here today. Karen and I. The other 50% keeping the lights on in Tallahassee. But I come from the business side. So they brought me in to try to look at those kinds of things. Those are the things that we need to do. We need to work with DMS, working on paper products and office products. We need to work with DOT, working on construction materials. We need to do all those things and need to do a better job. And we encourage you to let us know what you want us to try to do. Yes.
There is a requirement for Department of Management Services to track green purchases and also to offer a percentage above, a certain percentage to encourage state agencies to purchase green products. Right now, it's not being tracked very readily, but it is a requirement.
So the response from Karen here is that there are some requirements in statute already to do these things. Sometimes we don't eat our own dog food, as we say. We need to do a better job of that. And we need to, I'm on shift now. I'm on shift now to try to encourage and hold the agencies to the fire, feet to the fire. Question? What's for lunch? Somebody was asking.